Okay, thanks, Dickin.
30 minutes, perhaps more, to the AFC Championship. The Browns are already there. The Steelers lead Denver 17-10. Gary Anderson tees it up as he'll kick it off to Ken Bell and Darren Carrington for the Broncos. Bit more overcast now in Denver, Colorado, as Anderson hits a sidewinder into the wedge, muffed by a lineman Ruther, then picked up by Bratton, who gets to the 27-yard line, covered there by Tyrone Stowe. A look at the Coors halftime statistics as Elway comes onto the field. First down, Steelers +2. Yards rushing, the big number, with the Steelers led by Merrill Hodge, 139 against a tough rush defense. Yards passing even. Total yards to Pittsburgh, no turnovers. Possession time, Pittsburgh, and they lead 17-10.
Well, that 251 yards, Dick, at half is just about what Pittsburgh's been getting for an entire game throughout the regular season. So they've really moved the ball.
Another important statistic, we'll give that to you after this throw by Elway, deflected and almost intercepted by Little. And that is that the Steelers, despite the fact that they had an up and down and a rough year, when they led at halftime this year, they won the game 9 out of 9 times.
Elway, they had a plan on that last pass that looked pretty good, but they didn't account for a linebacker jumping up and batting it down. But Elway can throw the ball in this game. He's not getting a lot of heat as he drops back, and with that great arm and those receivers, that could sort of handle the game for him.
It was Greg Lloyd, 95, who got a piece of the last pass. Elway throws it too low for Bratton, incomplete. He had Humphrey wide open in the other flat. Keith Willis, 93, applying pressure.
Well, that's 2 misplays coming out at halftime, but they do have the talent. They do have the great passer. But I'll tell you this, Rod Woodson and Dwayne Woodruff are good physical corners. When they hit you, you know it. And their safeties are real active guys. So down the field, Pittsburgh won't be that bad, but it's the pass rush right now that would concern me if I were Chuck Noll.
3rd and 10, Sammy Winder into the backfield now with Elway. 4 wide receivers, Jackson in motion. Elway, a little pressure, steps up. Here he comes, chased from behind, breaks a tackle, and down he goes, fumbles the ball, and it's covered by Denver, but they're going to rule the ball down when Elway landed hard at the 37-yard line, and he's still on his hands and knees.
Aaron Jones has been taking a big, wide pass rush up the field on the top of the screen, and coming up underneath, Elway each time has been able to step right up through that big hole. He's been able to step up there. That's where the big pass early in the first quarter came, and that's where his run has come. So Jones is going to have some help inside, or Elway can move in there the entire game.
And a lot of people say, well, Elway looks like he lumbers on. You think this big guy quarterback Elway isn't fast? The man that was chasing him is Rod Woodson, who finished 2nd to Darrell Green as the NFL's fastest man in 1988, and he couldn't tackle Elway from behind.
Yeah, Elway has good speed for a big man, and he's not a young guy anymore, but he's got good activity. Early in his career, it was like Terry Bradshaw. They were so quick and active, they could run the ball every time they dropped back.
It's 4th down and a yard. Horan, and now here's a trick play. Horan comes up, and Kubiak, the backup quarterback, moves up under center. Boy, this is a gamble timeout being called by Pittsburgh. They took too much time, and so the Steelers wisely spend a timeout. But what a gamble from your own 37-yard line.
Who knows really what they'd have finally done. They might have just taken too much time or something of that nature, but it didn't seem normal. But fortunately, people were sharp enough to get a timeout call.
Were they just trying to draw him offside? No, Reeves had more in mind. He didn't want them to call timeout. 14 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
Football League is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. By Merrill Lynch, we're bullish on the 90s. And by Coors Light, pure brewed in the Rockies, the silver bullet won't slow you down. It's the right beer now.
Horan now in punt formation, so the trick play did not work. Horan hits a high fair catch punt that Woodson takes at the 18-yard line. Boy, when you think back, well, let's first of all look at Elway when he was dumped on his head, and it appeared that he may have injured his left hand. They were looking at the left hand. That was a scary tackle on Elway, and for him to even get up and be in one piece.
Well, he took a shot at getting that first down, so he tried to go over the top to get that extra foot or two right over on his head. This is a very difficult thing. You see the left hand is caught under the helmet as he lands, but he just took a snap from center. He'll be okay.
Now leading 17-10. Boy, Reeves really pulling out the stops to try that play at his own 37 early in the second half. And now Bubby Brister goes to work, and he's going to pass on first down. Has a man open. It's Weegee Thompson, and a first down at the 41-yard line.
Well, that was that so-called trap pass, as they call it. They fake that trap play. Then they send right down the field. They send it Worley, but now Weegee's going to go up and hook. He's not their primary receiver. He's going to pull up, but Worley was covered inside by the weak safety, and so the ball came out to him. Excellent job, excellent execution. And talking to Mecklenburg before the game, he said that trap pass worries us more than anything else they do. So it worked there.
Willis Weegee Thompson only caught 4 passes all year, really delivering for Pittsburgh today. Not only receiving, but his fine blocking. Here comes Tim Worley behind some good blocks, but good pursuit and a fumble. And who's got it? Tyrone Braxton of Denver. The game's first turnover.
Well, Worley's had a little history of fumbling, and he's carrying that ball very loosely. The ball's hanging out there and was just knocked loose. Dennis Smith, talking before the game, said, we can get that ball jarred out of there. And it happened. Now, this could be the big break to the game. Worley just didn't run in there for that ball.
Ray Cragen was in the thick of the tackle, and Tyrone Braxton, who led Denver with 6 interceptions, picks up the ball. There's Cragen's tackle. Mecklenburg in there as well. Now maybe the instant replay folks will take a second look as to whether or not Worley was down. He was hit hard, leaves the field under his own power. So far, no indication that they're reviewing the play.
That was really a rookie play on Worley's part. Carrying the ball that loosely and sort of trotting into the line of scrimmage, looking for a place to run. Meanwhile, you've got people with that intensity after you. The ball's going to be knocked out of there.
So from the 38, Elway drops back. He wants to go long. He does. Johnson, touchdown.
Confusion in that secondary that time. A post pattern right down the middle, and no safety there to take care of it. Both safeties open to their outside. When the play was over, they're both looking at each other with their hands up. There was a mistake.
Treadwell kicks this one high and cleanly after just barely getting one through on the first Denver touchdown and hitting the upright on a field goal.
Vance Johnson straight up the field, just bending into the post. No one there.
Field judge had the best coverage on Johnson. One play after the fumble, Elway to Vance Johnson, a 37-yard strike. It's a new game with 13 minutes left in the third. And the Bronco fans are loud now. It's 17-all. There was a unsportsmanlike penalty against the Steelers on the extra point. So David Treadwell, after 15 yards, will kick off from the 50-yard line. And one must always be alert to an onside kick in this situation.
Well, Pittsburgh's going to have to get it back together quickly. They had that very sloppy fumble. And now the big play where they blew a coverage.
He does an onside. It sends a high bounder to Woodson. And Rod Woodson trying to use his speed. Now he reverses his field. Gets a couple of blocks. And another. And finally out of bounds at the 20. He ran 60, but finally got it back to the 20. And it was mindful of Bill Walsh, that touchdown. Send a receiver deep, clear out for another deep receiver.
Thomas Everett, the weak safety, makes a critical error by favoring Kay down the field. Meanwhile, the post pattern hits right in behind him. Now, there's a play fake, but it really doesn't make any difference. A critical error there by Thomas Everett, reacting to the tight end when you've got Vance Johnson breaking to the middle. You see Everett's back turned to the play. Johnson's got all day just to wait for the ball.
12:47 left in the third quarter. Vance Johnson had a great season, 76 catches. Didn't make the Pro Bowl. Brister under pressure. Gets out of the grass, throws to Hodge. What a play! And Hodge gains 18 yards to the 38-yard line.
That was so close to a sack. Brister, it looked as though they had grasp and control. But Brister just for an instant broke clear. But he does have all these things that Tom Moore. No, that looks close. But Tom Moore, offensive coordinator, said this will be the best quarterback in the NFL in 1992. Well, pretty strong comment. But Brister does have those innate qualities that could take him to that lofty spot.
Boy, that was a gutsy 19, they say now at the 39. Now it's Hodge breaking tackles again out to the 45-yard line. No runner has enjoyed any sincere success against the Broncos this year, but Merrill Hodge certainly is a career high that follows the 100-yard rushing day at Houston last weekend.
Well, Hodge is so strong physically, but up front, excellent blocking by the tight end, by the right tackle, and Hodge had a chance to get to the line of scrimmage with some momentum. Nobody there to meet him initially.
Mike Malarkey has not returned to tight end. Terry O'Shea is the man in motion. Worley, after his fumble, running hard to the 50-yard line, appears to have a first down, and he took another pop. And that's one of the hazards of getting a reputation of being a fumbler. It makes those defensive players hit you all the harder.
Well, they thought that would be the difference, and I suppose it could be for this game. Worley's going to have to really get it together. That time, he ran with some real determination, like it really meant something. Mecklenburg talking to us before the game. What a different experience for a rookie. The intensity of this game, the crowd, everyone totally hyped up. He made one fatal error. Let's see if he can recover.
It was a first down at midfield. 17 all the score. Brister going long and has an open man. Lips, and he misses. Lewis Lips was open, and so was Ouija Thompson. They had two men deep against one defender, Dennis Smith.
Everybody seemed to relax on the Denver side, working straight up the field. Everybody just sort of slows down and look to the outside. What a play. Braxton saw Turner inside, and there's a big hole outside.
So Brister had a chance there, but overshot the mark, and he said he felt badly about that last week in Houston. Sometimes they get too excited, said Bubby. But he's showing the arm, and there's his offensive coordinator. Quite a prediction. He'll be the premier quarterback in 92, says this man. Hodge, trapped in the backfield, just does get back to the line of scrimmage. Holmes and Mecklenburg collaborated on the stop. It was Holmes who made the big play.
Hodge that time ran the same play. He got that 50-yard runoff against Houston, but that time there's just too much penetration up the field.
Well, this is the 5th Pittsburgh Steeler to go down today. 3 of them have returned. Malarkey has not, and now tackle John Jackson receives some attention. 10:20 remaining in the third period. John Jackson just guilty of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and will get pinned from behind as the tackle is made, and it's his right knee that takes the blow, and he's attended to on the sidelines.
The exact injury Bubba Paris had as a rookie. He had major knee surgery because of it. Touching the back of the legs.
It looks as if Jackson's is not that serious. Wolfley replaces him. Brister, 3rd and 10 down the middle, complete. Mark Stock, who had only 4 receptions all season, a rookie from VMI, and another line drive throw by Bubby Brister.
That was a beautiful shot, Dick. And the catches these guys are making, they're really into the game because they know there's going to be contact on these guys as they catch the ball. Good pass protection. That's what he's been getting all day. He drills that ball, but look at the concentration on the catch. Because so often you're sitting back there with Atwater and Smith to make the big hit on you when you make contact with the ball. Not so for Pittsburgh. These guys are really concentrating.
After giving up the cheap touchdown, a quick touchdown after a fumble in one play, Brister trying to drive the Steelers back into the lead. Flag is down, and apparently the dead ball foul as they've whistled a dead.
False start, 62 offense before the snap. The 5-yard penalty is still first down.
Chilkin, a Pro Bowler for the second time at 6'3" and 255, Indiana State.
He is really active. Really active athlete. This looked like it was going to develop into a pretty good call. But just a little bit of movement prior to the snap. It's vital here that Pittsburgh gets away with at least 3 points. They can't afford not to make points right now. Denver got that momentum going. Pittsburgh can just stall it off with a field goal. They'll be better.
Thompson left, Lips right. The young tandem of Hodge and Worley behind Brister. It's a draw or a trap, another one of those traps, and it's Hodge again. Holmes made the tackle. They got the 5 back. They lost on the first down penalty.
Hodge has a sort of a sixth sense about finding his way between people. An excellent inside runner. He reminds me a lot of Roger Craig instinct-wise. He's got that power. So he's really a guy that's going to be there for a long time.
They've been watering the field all week long, and as we saw Elway slip earlier, at both ends, the middle of the field seems to be dry and fast, but when you get to the 20 on either end, sod is being torn up, and it seems inordinately slippery. Only 6 seconds on the 45-second clock. 3. Brister gets it off. Guns incomplete to Lips, who was drilled at the 10-yard line by Tyrone Braxton.
Brister was a count late with the throw. Still could have been a completion, but that count late really made a difference because the defenders were right with him all over. Now the ball should be getting there now. Still not there. Now by the time it gets there, there are the defenders. That's the difference. Just maybe 0.2 of a second, and that's what will be a difference, I think, for Brister further into his career. Just a little more anticipation.
John Jackson, the left tackle, has returned to the lineup for the Steelers. 3rd down, a long 10.
They can't afford a sack.
Stone breaks a tackle. It's knocked out of bounds after a gain of 2. Randy Robbins, an extra defensive back, number 48.
Brister was really tagged on that. A screen pass, which isn't necessarily a great call in that situation, because if you take a loss, it just takes you further from the field goal. Now we'll take a look at him. He was holding the ball. There's the shot. Knocks him down. Just sort of an average hit for Mecklenburg. He probably doesn't even know he did it.
All right, here's Gary Anderson trying one from 36 yards. Actually 35 officially. And Anderson is 6'4", 35 yards for Gary Anderson, who is kicking for his father, his coach, who watches in San Diego. The Steelers are in front again. Dick Enberg with Bill Walsh at Mile High Stadium. 75,000 fans have been entertained with some Mile High drama. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, heavy underdogs, have the lead again, 2017. Gary Anderson's kick sailing left. Bell lets it go. It hits the pylon, and so that'll be a touchback at the 20 for the Broncos.
Well, the onus is now right back on Elway's shoulders. That 3 points against this defense is going to be tough.
Tonight on NBC, a great lineup. Immediately following our game, it's A Brand New Life, followed by Ann Jillian and Sister Kate. Hope you'll see more action in our shows tonight than we saw in that little scuffle. At 9 p.m. 8 Central and Mountain, NBC presents a world premiere miniseries based on the true story, courage of DEA agents exposing billionaire drug lords. It's a terrific show. Drug Wars, the Camarena story, powerful and real, beginning tonight only on NBC. Vance Johnson, who caught that 37-yard touchdown pass from Elway, comes out to the left as Elway sets up shop at his own 20. Steve Sewell. He traps Humphrey, gets nothing. Steelers waiting for that. Tim Johnson, a third-year man from Penn State, number 78, there first.
There's a little confusion. I'm not sure confusion, but whatever it was in the secondary, both safeties for Pittsburgh that time almost ran into each other deep. So whatever calls they're making, they made another mistake. And that's the same kind of thing that happened for that touchdown a little bit earlier to Johnson. So look for Elway to run the same kind of a play pass and go down the middle on these guys.
Humphrey, the lone running back behind Elway. That's Sewell in motion. And into the pass pattern. Look at the time. Almost intercepted by Hardy Nickerson.
Well, Elway just waited too long to throw the football. I'm not sure he had anybody open, but he telegraphed exactly where that ball was going to go for a full second and a half. So everybody was poised to jump and try to block it or get an interception. If you see John looking left, sitting there watching. Now by the time he throws it, everybody's in the picture. You had 3 people in position to make an interception. That's why it's so critical to time these patterns out. And of course, that's why Joe Montana and his coaches and players are so absolutely phenomenal.
Are the 49ers any good, you think? I mean,
well, they don't get any notoriety.
Oh my. Third and 10 Elway. He's going to run it, and he's got room. 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards, 32 for Elway.
Pittsburgh has been playing a very, very docile vanilla defense. This time they jumped man-to-man and brought a defensive back, Rod Woodson. So Rod Woodson's going to blitz from the outside. Everybody else is locked up man-to-man. So Elway's going to take the ball, and there's no one there because everybody's looking the other way, covering the receiver. See the big hole in the defense. Now everyone's chasing somewhere else. No one can even tell he's running with the ball yet. There's still people looking the other way.
Wayne Woodruff finally got on the back of Elway. First down at the 48 of the Steelers, and Elway deep down the middle. Intercepted. Thomas Everett. Everett at the 40. Everett at the 50. And the Steelers have their first turnover of the game. Thomas Everett, who had 3 interceptions during the regular season.
Well, this is how Pittsburgh plays you. We talked about it before the game started. They're going to keep the heat on you, keep the pressure on you, and if some point you crack, they win. That's exactly what happened last week, and it may be happening now. Again, Elway's sort of telegraphing the throw, holding it and watching. Then when he drills it, there's just a little bit high. We've got 2 people in position to make the stop. Hinkle was right there. Now the key at this point is to hold on to the ball as a defensive back.
And Everett has it at the 48-yard line, a 25-yard return. His brother also in the National Football League with the Philadelphia Eagles, Eric, a cornerback. They're from Dangerfield, Texas. They're earning some respect down there in Dangerfield. Brister throws this one away as Michael Brooks was breathing into his face mask. And Brister said, yeah, I got a guy right over there. Can't you see him?
It may have been a screen pass. It looked like it was. But have they reversed themselves on this call, Dick? Early in the year, they had taken steps to stop that. They made some calls. They were unpopular. Now they won't call anything related to throwing the ball away.
Dan Reeves, and in talking with him yesterday, he admitted he still cannot maintain his total composure when it comes to the officials, but then what head coach can? The stadium in a rumble on 2nd and 10, and it's Worley, the rookie, to the 42, a gain of 6. Tyrone Braxton, not very big, 5'11" and 174, made the tackle.
I don't think Chuck Noll's going to be looking for running backs in the near future unless they're backup kind of people, because Worley, with his power, he fell forward 4 yards that time. And Hodge on the other side doing the same thing. 225-pound backs that run north and south.
complimenting Hodge. Hodge has over 100, 111. 4 wide receivers with Hodge back on the left side of Brister. Brister down the middle, complete. First down. It's to Hodge. Boy, he has good hands as well, and Brister takes a good pop. Carl Mecklenburg, and Brister is hurt.
Mecklenburg's going to be playing defensive end in a nickel defense, coming up on the outside, and he's going to make a move all the way around, and he makes that big shot. Now that, well, no, it was a good, solid play. He's a sportsman, because he could have really leveled Brister that time.
Mecklenburg, who said, I never really started at anything in high school. I couldn't really play hockey or basketball or football till I was a senior. Went to a small college, eventually transferred to Minnesota. Very late draft pick by the Broncos. On first down, Hodge for a couple. Brooks the tackle.
This has to be the best passing day as far as effectiveness that Pittsburgh's had all year. I haven't seen all of them. We haven't researched them all, but this is very, very good because the ball is being caught when it's been thrown accurately. People aren't getting the ball knocked loose. They're not dropping anything. They're making their plays in a real intense situation.
Having trouble getting the play, Brister, whose close buddy is Hodge, by the way. It's an unlikely partnership. Hodge, a devout Mormon, doesn't drink, very careful about his dating patterns. Brister loves the ladies, has been known to enjoy a libation or two, and yet they have formed a very solid friendship off the field. In fact, he said the only thing bad about these playoffs, we had to put off our duck hunting. We're going to go off and duck hunting, Merrill and me.
Well, they maybe have a few more weeks. They're busy here.
Next Sunday, NBC Sports Indeed will present the AFC Championship game. The Cleveland Browns against either the Steelers or the Denver Broncos. Of course, Cleveland winning yesterday 34-30. The AFC Championship game coming your way next Sunday afternoon on NBC Sports. Check your local listings for the time in your area. I don't know if they've sorted that out yet. The 49ers also will be a home team, and there was some talk that the game, well, of course, if Cleveland hosts it, will be an early game, a 1 o'clock Eastern game. If it's here in Denver, should Denver beat Pittsburgh today, then they might be looking at an 11 o'clock kickoff. We'll give you that information officially as soon as we receive it.
Well, this is a different Pittsburgh team than other people have seen all year, including Cleveland.
Including us.
Including us.
Pittsburgh now has used 2 timeouts, and that may haunt Noel later should he get in a close game and have to come from behind late. But right now he doesn't want any mistakes. Second down 7. Almost in, well, they are in Anderson's field goal range even now. Fake the whirly. Screen to Hodge with blockers, and it's well read. Coming up was Wyman Henderson, the right corner. Did he do a solid job with plenty of white shirts in his path?
Well, it looked as though Dawson, number 63, was well downfield before that ball was thrown. The play was well timed. It looked like he was well down the field, and apparently he wasn't spotted.
A gain of only a couple. The ball just inside the 29, so it's third down and short 4.
You see the counter play faked. Now the center moving to his left. The ball is thrown, and it looks as though he's downfield right there, number 63.
Henderson comes out. Darren Carrington replacing him, and here's Hodge with a flag down, and Hodge running right over his own man and is right at the yardsticks. Ron Holmes makes the tackle, but 2 flags are down.
Looked like there was movement, Dick. The crowd noise got to the Pittsburgh team that time. They couldn't hear the snap count.
Yeah, backfield in motion or illegal motion.
Well, they just couldn't hear.
So instead of a first down, Hodge.
Illegal motion, left side of the offensive line. 5-yard penalty. We'll replay the third down.
You'll see people moving. They can't hear it. Just takes one person to sort of trigger it. Then everybody moves because there's a lot of intensity. There's a pretty physical encounter you're about to go into. You can move early.
Is that one of the reasons you didn't like the shotgun?
We didn't use the shotgun. These kind of stadiums really hurt it. But, of course, it's just one incident, and they're going to go right back to it. This crowd is really noisy. Really noisy.
On 3rd and 8, Brister complete to Dwight Stone, and a first down at the 23 in front of Randy Robbins.
Gee, he really gets the ball there. Really gets the ball there.
He was a baseball star in high school and drafted by the Tigers as a shortstop outfielder. Boy, he has a Dwight Evans, if you want to really go back in Tiger lore, a Rocky Colavito line. He can gun it.
This is the same play that scored earlier going the other way in the first half. He releases up, and there's a big hole in the defense right there because Denver's still sorting people out to cover. So the man in motion just stops and pivots, and they lose track of receivers.
Stone in motion. Hodge up the middle. He's hit and gains 3 yards after the contact. From the 20, he gets it in almost to the 17.
Hodge was at the 20, Dick, as you point out. He stopped at the 17-yard line. Now that is really driving forward. Both of these guys.
Yeah, his rookie year in '87, he had only 3 rushes. He was a special teams player. Then last year, he led the Steelers with 705 yards. And this year he finished second to Tim Worley when he gained 621. But he had 100 yards against Houston and 119, best ever against Denver this season. On 2nd and 6, closer to 6th and 5. Worley cutting inside and gains a couple. It'll be about 3rd and 2.5. Mecklenburg and Munford make the tackle as we see the final seconds tick away in this 3rd quarter. The Steelers had every opportunity to fold emotionally, this young team, when they lost a fumble by Worley, and Elway immediately hit on a 37-yard touchdown to Vance Johnson. But the Steelers came back, engineered a drive, got a field goal, regained the lead, and here they are marching deep into Dan Reeves' territory again.
15 minutes going all the way back to early July. These people have worked. Dan Reeves has worked every day. These coaches every day for 6 months.
And Chuck Noll still with a heartbeat around 60. We go to the 4th.
Got him.
The tension of the playoffs and the culmination of all the work of a season falling on the shoulders of Dan Reeves and his counterpart Chuck Noll across the way. We go to the 4th period. Dick Enberg with Bill Walsh. Pittsburgh, the underdog, leading by 3, and have a 3rd down and a long 2 inside the 15 of Denver. Brister has it knocked down by Simon Fletcher. Fletcher is 6'6".
Well, that was the key play, because now 3 points isn't going to really devastate Denver. They've got the great passer and receivers. They can score a touchdown if they just keep their poise. They just can't leave their game plan. Now that was a big play by Fletcher. Coming up the field, batting that ball right back in the face of Brister.
And Gary Anderson from 32 yards goes for 6 straight in the playoffs. Oh, and he is dead center.
What rhythm. Beautiful. Right down the middle.
Anderson, the only place kicker to make the Pro Bowl twice from the AFC side in the 80s, and it's a 6-point lead. It's a touching story. Gary Anderson and his father Doug. And now the timeout.
In mini camps, what they did in training camp, and all the way through the season. Good burst up the field. They've got good field position related to a kickoff return.
Bobby Humphrey has not been used much since the 1st quarter. They've gone away from that game plan. Elway to throw. Lots of time. Incomplete. Intended for Vance Johnson. Well covered by Dwayne Woodruff.
Well, that was the 3rd potential receiver for Elway. He didn't want to throw the ball over there. They had a pattern that was going to break down the zone defense, but Rod Rush's defense just clung right to the receivers. They really had that pattern scouted. Just nowhere to throw the ball.
The interception against Elway by Everett led to the last field goal, as Gary Anderson has kicked 3 today. Bobby Brister's come up with the big plays when he's needed them, and the Steelers hanging on to a 23-17 lead early in the fourth quarter. Fake toss, inside handoff to Sewell, and he's across the 35. Brian Hinkle was not fooled on the play. David Little on the assist.
That inside reverse is sort of tough now because people aren't moving quite as quickly as they would be early in the game. So everybody was sort of sitting there, just getting on track when Sewell hit the line of scrimmage. First quarter, maybe second quarter, might have been a little better call. But right now, they're pulling out everything. They want to make a play. And you can get so anxious. There's still 14 minutes, but so anxious because you don't want to give up the ball.
Third down along 4. Michael Young, the top third down receiver, is the man to the bottom of your screen. Elway going to run it. No, stops, guns, and hits Young. No, yes it is Michael Young at the 45-yard line. And a first down for Denver.
Did Elway have to maneuver that time? All 4 pass rushers put a pretty even level of pass rush on him. So he had to make a real quick move right up over the ball to get any kind of throwing room. You see, here it is. He's just going to move forward to make his throw. He couldn't have run that time because they were just sitting there waiting for him.
And Young, again, as he did in the first half, comes up with that third down reception, and the drive is still alive. 13 minutes, 15 seconds left in the fourth period. Elway to the sidelines to Vance Johnson. And another first down as he's dragged out of bounds at the Pittsburgh 43.
Every Friday, every week, every Friday, they practice a 2-minute offense. And this is a format where they're going to throw virtually every down. Here's a well-timed throw. You don't just realize how many times they've thrown that pass, those 2 people, and had that protection. So all of their work is boiling down to the last 13 minutes of the season.
Vance Johnson was a running back at Arizona. He says, I'm just starting to feel comfortable as a wide receiver, I should say. 76 catches this year. Humphrey, somewhat forgotten, gets to the 39, maybe the 38. Little and Lloyd, the linebackers on the tackle.
Just have to keep maneuvering down, settle for a field goal if they have to, because they can get another one and tie it up if necessary. But what they can't do is turn that ball over without some kind of score.
Well, it could be a wild Sunday for the wild card teams. The Rams have beaten the Giants, and here in beautiful Colorado, it's wild card Pittsburgh ahead by 6. 12 minutes to go. Second and 7, going down the sidelines to Sewell, and overthrown. Carnell Lake, the rookie, on the coverage. That's something they wanted to do today, isolate Sewell on Lake.
Well, Lake has the speed. He doesn't have a lot of technique, but he's right up on a super swift man, and now he pushes him, just knocks him slightly off balance. There isn't anywhere to go. But Elway wasn't looking to throw there initially. He was looking inside, and that was sort of a late desperation shot along the sideline. He wanted to throw inside. He's getting good protection. He was able to do that again. Look inside, no receiver, hold the ball, throw late to someone else.
Lake, a linebacker at UCLA, and now playing strong safety in the NFL as a rookie. On third down.
A lot of protection.
Elway gets out again. And can't get away from Gerald Williams, the rookie from Purdue. He's shy of the first down.
Williams really got going on that. That was life or death, because Elway was going to get the first down. He hadn't gotten there.
And now a decision for Dan Reeves on fourth down.
Well, here comes Sewell. Elway almost trapped, getting outside, but look at the speed coming from in behind him just to save the first down.
It's fourth down and 4, and Reeves says go for it.
Well, he must really respect that Pittsburgh offense.
No way. That's a little pooch
nice
punt.
Little shot.
No one back, and so, but it takes a Pittsburgh bounce and comes out to the 18. It appeared to be trickling on its way inside the 10, but had a back roll on it, and the Steelers have stopped Denver's Dan Reeves again, and the frustration is starting to build in Colorado. A beautiful shot, but the truth is the sun is setting on someone's season today, as it did on the Giants, and the Steelers are really causing concern here. And it reminds me 2 years ago of the frown on your face when Minnesota caught you at Candlestick when you were a heavy favorite.
Yeah, well, we underestimated Minnesota. They were a fine team, especially that year, much as the Steelers are now. The only break for Denver is the Steelers aren't scoring that much.
Anthony Carter really drove you crazy. A flag goes down on the first down play by Pittsburgh. So Merrill Hodge is the Steeler version of Anthony Carter here in Denver today, and another 5-yarder against the Steelers. And that has been a consistent pattern, but they've overcome it so far.
One thing we know about Denver.
Illegal motion, 79 offense, penalty refused, second down.
One thing about Denver, they can come back to win games. These playoff games are famous for doing it. They've got Elway, the big gun, and the great receivers. But as of this half, other than that one big pass, they just haven't executed that cleanly.
D for Denver, D for defense. 11 minutes to go. 2nd and 9. Underneath to Hodge. And he bites to the 25, where it'll be 3rd and 3. Boy, you imagine in Cleveland how difficult it must be. These hated Steelers from Pittsburgh, and the Browns must, even the toughest fans, say, well, maybe Pittsburgh could win one time, because then we'd be home next Sunday for the AFC Championship.
That Hodge is impressive. That ball was drilled to him. He caught it. He must be wearing down. Now, he ran the mile in the 880 or 800 meters in high school. Not a lot of speed, but great stamina. And this is what Chuck Noll likes so much about him. He can go all day. And he's going to be asked to today.
3rd and 3. Hodge again. Oh, my. Another first down at the 32 with Atwater on the coverage for Denver. What a workhorse. Merrill Hodge, he really personifies that title.
That size, sometimes scouts in professional football don't account for size. Also for speed. Chuck Noll timed his men in a 40 this year with pads on, not with all the special equipment and special starts. The fastest man on his team ran 4.5. And so that shows you that sometimes speed's misunderstood, and size. Hodge is catching this ball. He weighs 225 pounds. It's tough to knock the ball loose from him.
Oh, first down, the clock runs to 9:35 in the 4th. Steelers by 6. Brister to Hodge. And he does not make Michael Brooks miss. Good tackle by the linebacker. And Brister ad-libbing that one. And look at the eyes of Dad and Mom as they watch their son in this critical 4th period.
Well, that might seem like a very innocent catch by Hodge, but that takes about 40 seconds away from Denver later on. A completed pass, the clock running. So by using the clock, that one completed pass can take 4 or 5 Elway passes out of the game. You don't want to stop the clock at this point in the game.
Hodge saving a career game for this playoff in Denver. And this time it's Worley. Nothing there but orange. Rick Dennison, Michael Brooks, Dennis Smith all in on the tackle, as well as Greg Cregan.
Well, I'm sure right now that on the sideline, Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, is probably signaling over there to use as much of the clock as you can. Brister holding that snap to take every second away from Elway they can get.
Chuck Noll, Cleveland born and raised, went to Dayton University, drafted by the Browns. He was an undersized guard and linebacker for Paul Brown. Look at Brister going down the offensive line to call the play, and apparently changing at the last minute. 3rd and 8. Underneath, it's Hodge again, and he didn't quite get to the yardsticks. He fumbled after he hit the ground at the 41-yard line, and he must be exhausted. Another 8 yards for Hodge. He's caught 8 passes for 59 yards. He's rushed for 120 yards. What a day.
Well, that stamina that Chuck talked about, they're still going to him, and he's still quick enough to make a tough catch. Now he's breaking between people. The ball came out when he hit.
Mark Haynes and Tyrone Braxton teaming up on the tackle. 4th and 1 for Noel, and in comes Harry Newsom. Vance Johnson back at the 15. Newsom dropped a punt in the earlier season game here in Denver that led to a Pittsburgh demise. It's Johnson on the run and fumbles the ball. Did he cover it? Yes. At the 29-yard line.
Well, decent field position to make their plays.
Only the second punt of the day by the Steelers.
That ball was really falling in a strange way. Oh, he dropped it immediately.
Timeout, 7:06 to go.
ABC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by New Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By Magnavox. Smart choices for smart people. Magnavox. Smart. Very smart. And by Today's Chevrolet, who invites you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Elway on first down, being chased from behind. Gets it away. Is it complete? No. Trapped by Mark Jackson, and a flag is down.
Things start going wrong in a situation like this. It brings me right back to 1987 with Minnesota. You know you're the better team. You're the stronger team. You're the best team in football. But on that given day, execution by Minnesota, plus that, you start getting frantic.
Ineligible downfield on the forward pass. Number 67, 10-yard penalty. Will replay the first down.
Well, you get movement early, and these are the kind of things that happen right here. A man moves a little bit early, and well, if he's maybe downfield, but he threw a block. Now, the rule is if you can make contact within about a yard of the line of scrimmage and throw a block and stay on the ground, they won't call it. Very technical call.
So, 10-yard penalty, illegally downfield, 1st and 20. And Elway, as the pressure now starting to be felt by Denver. Hits one. Jackson almost broke that one for a long one. Rod Woodson was the last Steeler. First down. They pick up 21 yards. Oh, wait. No, he was spotted at the 39, so it's a 19-yard play.
Just a push straight up the field. Elway's at his best when he can throw that ball, drill that ball down inside. And Woodson really can't do much about that. The ball's thrown between him and the receiver, so he just can't make a move on the ball. Got real lucky there, because that ball could have gone all the way.
And it appears to be enough for a first down. I guess not. By a link, it is not. Let's go back to drawing the comparison between the 49ers, Minnesota, and this game. You know, one of the things the Steelers were talking about, they said, well, wild card disadvantage on the road, but we played last week. They were hoping that Denver, with 2 weeks off, even though they had a lot of time to prepare, might have lost some of their sharpness.
Well, it's always possible. Again, going back to 87, which is a classic case, we worked too long and too hard preparing for that game, because we were preparing not only for it, but for future games. So the same sort of dynamics could be a factor here for Denver.
Here's the flea flicker back to Elway, and he's throwing long for Johnson. He's got it! What a catch at the 27-yard line.
That was the old flea flicker, handoff, pitch back, practiced over and over, but that time Everett had a good position. Everett saw the play. Thomas Everett, 27, but Johnson's speed had built up. You see Everett in position, but now the speed starts showing up. Everett looks tired right now. He looks tired.
So trailing 23-17. Denver has a first down at the 27 of the Steelers, and here's Bobby Humphrey. Close to 5 yards before Brian Hinkle and Carnell Lake. No, it's Everett who helps out on the tackle, and you're right, Everett, as he gets up, pulling at his toes as if he was cramping.
Yeah, he just wasn't running at all trying to make that play, because two defenders down the field saw that flea flicker play developing, and they still couldn't stop it. That shows you where demonstrates the fatigue that sets in, because your emotions run so high, you really use up energy.
And here in the high altitude, of course, Pittsburgh foreign to that. 2nd and 6, little delay, and it's Humphrey inside the 15, first down.
Really well done by Juriga, 66, and Perry, 60, pulling and going up the field. They both pulled and came down the line of scrimmage. You see them right there, turning back in, going up the field. 2 excellent moves that knocked people out of there and gave Humphrey a chance to split people.
Bobby Humphrey, the leading rusher for the Broncos on the season, 61 yards today. And Chuck Noll's team now digging in, trying to protect a 6-point lead, but Denver building momentum. Humphrey again to the 9-yard line before Carnell Lake can wrestle him down with Everett helping out.
Well, there's some real emotion developing, sort of building up inside these people. That time, both safeties, Everett and Lake, became real emotional and almost got themselves in some trouble with it. They're frustrated right now. You see them setting up inside. Both are making a good stop. Then there's a spin-off. They both were halfway mad at each other for such a collision. But again, there's frustration at this point. If you can't think clearly, you get in deep trouble.
4:23 left in the 4th quarter. 2nd and 4. Humphrey. All the way to the 1-yard line. 1st and goal, Denver.
Right now, Denver is blocking Pittsburgh because the safeties are making all the stops. There they are again. That time Woodson, the corner, and Lake both had to make the stop.
They spotted at the 2-yard line. 4 chances to take the lead for the Broncos. It's Winder, a tailback, Bratton, the fullback. Winder, whoa, hit in the backfield for a loss. Carnell Lake, the rookie, charging in from a safety spot. Rod Woodson helping out.
They blitzed on the outside with defensive backs and got to the ball carrier before he could get to the line of scrimmage. You see the people coming all the way from the outside, getting into the play. Little was there, and on the outside, the defensive back.
That was Rod Woodson from the far side, and Lake came right up the middle. A loss of a yard. 2nd and goal. Bratton and Winder behind Elway. Bratton. Is he in? No. Stopped inside the 1. On Monday night, the fans of Colorado will well remember the lost opportunity by the Buffaloes in the first half against Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. Stopped 4 times from the 1, and the Irish would go on to upset the hopes of the Buffaloes and Colorado fans for a national title. And now, 3rd and goal for Elway from just inside the 1.
Elway and Reeves are famous for bootlegs and play passes in this situation.
It's Bratton. Touchdown. Dan Reeves, Denver Broncos have driven from their own 29-yard line on a game, in a game that will decide an opponent for Cleveland, and it may well be a drive that will take them to the AFC Championship game. It's tied now at 23. Treadwell to give the Broncos the lead. But it ain't over yet. 2:27 to go, and now it'll be the Steelers' chance, and they only need a field goal to win.
Well, this is is something that Pittsburgh has not been able to do that well all year. It's a so-called 2-minute offense. A young team, a little bit weary now, especially their running backs. Here's a good shot at it up the field, and they just dominate the line of scrimmage. Pat Kelly blocking out to the outside was there.
And Dan Reeves, who has been sweating this one out, finally sees his team fight to the lead.
Well, Pat Kelly did a great job of blocking the man right in front of me. He had a big linebacker.
Well, he must be a great poker player, Chuck Noll. He hides all emotions. Now, Bubby Brister, who says, I love it. This is what I dreamed about doing. Has a chance to be a hero for Pittsburgh. He'll get the opportunity. Remember, they've used 2 of their timeouts. There's 2:27 left. And Rod Woodson, the NFL's top kick returner, is deep for the Steelers. He averaged over 27 yards a kick return and had 1 for a touchdown. And he'll take the touchback. Good kick by Treadwell. Sent a knuckleballer down low, and Woodson couldn't handle it.
This is where planning comes in, because Tom Moore there with Brister, they just have to look at a plan and repeat plays they've worked on. To try to decide what to do now is brutal. Brutal, because you just can't think clearly down on that field with that tremendous din of the crowd in your ear. So he's got to be looking at a list, what they plan to do with 2 minutes to go, down by 1 point.
With only 1 timeout remaining, it takes a little bit of the running game away, but they only have to get into field goal range to win.
The shotgun is tough now. You can see Dawson couldn't hear the snap count.
Down the middle, dropped. Mark Stock had it right in his hands and couldn't hang on.
He was looking down the field before he took his eye off the ball. You'll see him coming in motion, then breaking right up in a big hole, and they fake back here a toss play so that they corralled everybody up close. Big hole, but he took his eye off the ball because he wanted to run with it before he caught it. There it is, looking, see him take his eye off the ball.
And Dennis Smith was there to give him a pop, and Bubby wanted that one. That would have been good for nearly 20. You can feel the stadium vibrating from the fans' reaction. Brister, incomplete. Lewis Lips was coming back to help out, but Ron Holmes was pressuring Brister.
Now this is really tough because with 1 timeout remaining, Denver, if they do punt the ball, most likely won't get it back again. So they may have to go for it on 4th down, even though they're backed up like this. They've used their timeouts.
What a gallant effort by the Chuck Noll Steelers. But they're in trouble now at their own 20, 3rd and 10. He wants his lineman to get down and get set. And there's the problem. He couldn't hear, and Denver has the ball.
Well, that's why Joe Montana doesn't use the shotgun. Exactly it right there. It comes down to a given play. Too much noise. They can't hear the snap count.
Now look at Brister. Well, he was trying to get the attention of his line to set up. Then the snap came and handcuffed him. Merrill Hodge couldn't pick it up. And it appeared to be Randy Robbins who covered it for the Broncos.
Well, for Reeves, the Denver crowd helped him most likely win this game.
And of course, what started in preseason as a rule to take away such an advantage, especially in dome stadiums, for the noise when the opposing quarterback couldn't hear. That one melted into the atmosphere because they don't call it at all. In fact, we've heard many coaches say it's actually worked really to our disadvantage, thinking they would help us out, and they'd call a 5-yard delay penalty on us. Here comes Humphrey. They're trying to steal the ball. And that'll take us to the 2-minute timeout. Now, many thought it a miracle for the Steelers to even get into these playoffs, and they need a miracle play now with Denver in control. Fumbles have been crucial to this game. One by Worley at his own 37. A play later, Elway advanced Johnson for a touchdown. And now a fumbled snap as Brister, fighting this crowd noise, trying to get his linemen set, and got a low snap around the ankles, handcuffed him. But as Merrill Hodge, who's had a great game, shakes his head, and I guess the highest compliment, Bill Walsh, you could pay to this Pittsburgh team is, at times, they reminded you of the Steelers of the 70s.
Right, they're a year away, maybe 2 years, but they've made a quantum leap as a football team. Right now, they've got a timeout left. They can still get the ball back if they can force Denver to kick a field goal. There still will be less than a touchdown that they have to make up. So they're still, in a sense, in the ball game.
2nd down and 6. And so knowledgeable, quiet for Elway. Humphrey plowing off left tackle for a couple.
They'll get the ball back.
Use their final timeout with 1:49 to go, and Denver sitting at the Steeler 12-yard line. Few Steeler fans, and among them Bubby Brister's father and mother, center of your picture.
How the emotions can go from swinging one way to the other in a 3 to 4 hour football game. It's just amazing. You can be absolute frustrated, depths of dejection on the sideline, and one fumble can change your whole season.
3rd down along 4. Steelers don't have a timeout. If they can stop the Broncos, they'll force a field goal here. So a big play. 1st down, it's over. And the Steelers appear to be offside. Humphrey has the 1st down anyway as he fights to the 6-yard line. And this rookie from Alabama, what a player, what an addition he has been to this Denver team. The Elway count had the Steelers off balance, and Humphrey driving for his 85th yard of the game after a slow start. He has been tough in this 4th quarter, and now there's no way that the Steelers can stop the clock. And for John Elway, he's in a position now of not having to take any chances.
That last defense Rod Rush called, you know, often it might be just as well to put your goal line defense in a situation like that. If they break it and score, you've lost anyway. But get enough people in there at the line of scrimmage to cut things off.
We now hear officially that the championship game, Cleveland at Denver, and it's a rematch of what has become a terrific series, and they'll go at it again. The winner to the Super Bowl will start at 11 o'clock here in Denver. 11 o'clock start next week. That means 10:30. That's 1:30 Eastern time will be the kickoff. 1:30 Eastern time. And San Francisco and the Rams will play a 5 o'clock game Eastern time. And there's the final play. The Steelers were the opponents, and Bubby Brister living up to the hopes of the Pittsburgh fans in the 90s. And the Broncos, the best in the AFC, needed all they could muster to rally to win by 1, 24-23. It'll be all orange next Sunday, and the collaboration of Reeves and Bolin waits for the Browns. Prize fight where a heavy underdog takes the game to the favorite, and that's exactly what the Steelers brought to Denver today. And it took the best record in the AFC, the Broncos, and holding firm, and Dan Reeves' team able to get the breaks at the end and take advantage 24-23. And now it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP is Merrill Hodge from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of the MVP selected in this weekend's games. So 24-23. Denver has beaten Pittsburgh, and as I said, the Budweiser Most Valuable Player was Merrill Hodge of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who was the first man this year to rush for more than 100 yards against the Denver Bronco defense, and he did it in the first half. And for Bubby Brister, he offers hope for the future in Pittsburgh, but it's more immediate in Denver, as owner and coach can now look ahead to the AFC title game next Sunday. Stay tuned tonight on NBC. Coming up, a big lineup on our Sunday evening that'll be capped by Drug Wars, the Camarina story that'll follow Brand New Life, and Jillian and Sister Kate. Powerful because it's so real. The Drug Wars, the Camarina story on NBC this evening. For Bill Walsh, this is Dick Enberg from Mile High Stadium. Thank you for being with us. We'll look forward to visiting with you next Sunday for the AFC title game. It'll be Denver and Cleveland.